Hey, my name is Adam Michael Anthony Simpson, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Adam M.A. Simpson. Today we have Aspire360 founder Eleanor Haglund. And Aspire360 is a startup that helps CEOs grow. And taken from their website that you can access here, uses a team of vetted experts to get better results in key areas of your business, like fundraising, company growth, entrepreneur coaching, customer acquisition, marketing, and more. So please check out the website. It's available here. Aspire360 has been featured in Forbes, Smart Hustle, Ambitious Entrepreneur, and FoundersForge. Please check out the website here. This interview is so interesting. I learned so much from Eleanor. We were friends from undergrad. Little side note. So, please enjoy this episode. I intentionally made it a little shorter so that, we could gather the interest of many people, especially those interested in the startup world and the tech world, etc. So please check it out. And also like and subscribe, I'm going to say, before we get to the ending of this video. So yeah, please support Aspire360. That's the most important thing for this episode. Hey Eleanor, thank you so much for being part of this episode on my YouTube channel. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. My name's Eleanor. I'm originally from New Jersey. I went to undergrad at Carnegie Mellon, studied creative writing, psychology, entrepreneurship, and just recently graduated from Columbia University's MBA program.
Awesome. So what is Aspire360's mission? Yeah. What do you do?
It's a good question. Aspire360's mission is to support early stage entrepreneurs get the resources that they need. So we connect them with coaches, we connect them with mentors, investors, and at the kind of base of it, the platform that it's built on, it's an assessment tool. So it helps people really understand themselves and their business so that they can improve.
Great. And then how do you support entrepreneurs if you're to go into the details? If you could tell us what tools, various things that entrepreneurs could benefit from by using your services.
Yeah. So the way that we support early stage entrepreneurs varies based on the entrepreneur. So people tend to have problems in a couple of key buckets though. So they're either struggling with fundraising or sales and marketing. Maybe they're struggling with hiring or even finding product market fit. And in each of those buckets, we have special coaches that focus on those areas and can support the entrepreneurs through that strategy. Mentors who are experts in each of those areas who will sit down with you and brainstorm and connect you with different people. And then on the investor side, the tool is able to connect the entrepreneurs with investors that really care about the industry, the mission, and hopefully, because we're assessing both people as well, there's an actually good human connection between those two people, because the investors are going to be there for a while, especially if you're building your business.
Wow. So I assume that you use some kind of very detailed questionnaire and interview style to figure out what their needs of the wow. So
yeah. But it's all digital and it's super easy to do. So the questions are really, really short.
Wow. Well, congrats to you. That's so smart. Because I'm at Stanford. I took an entrepreneurship class and it seems very cutthroat. So I'm so happy that somebody is trying to share some love in this space.
Yeah. Well, that's part of why we wanted to do it. It's it shouldn't be that competitive or that cutthroat. It should be where everyone's supporting everyone else, because all of these problems, if we can solve them, it benefits everyone. So.
Exactly. I love that. Thanks for sharing that part.
Yeah.
So getting more, personal, what made you want to start a business during graduate school?
Yeah, it's a question that I get from a lot of people, both in graduate school and people who haven't decided yet to go. I think that the main reason that I wanted to start a business while I was in grad school is because it gave me 2 years of runway where I could learn and apply those learnings and kind of build my startup in that 2-year period, so that at the end of that 2-year period, I had a business that I could go into. I think it's one of the, if you have the opportunity to go to an MBA program,
Yes.
Barring kind of the financial costs, it's a really safe time in order to do that kind of slightly slow jump. I think a lot of people are scared to jump into startups because they're like, oh, like, what if there's a gap in my resume? Like, what if I fail? And if you're doing it over your MBA time, there is no gap in your resume.
Exactly.
And at the end of it, if you failed in your startup, you can just be like, yeah, I had an MBA. Like,
well, I mean, from what I've heard in the entrepreneurship class, most of the CAs failed twice, 3 times.
Easily.
And so I don't think that's something you can't include on your CV or your resume. That's like, it means you've learned so much. Mm-hmm. So what was that experience like, developing a business or a startup in graduate school?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that I got a ton of resources for my startup because I was a student. So there were lots of competitions. There were professors who were willing to take time to talk to me. People in the industry who maybe wouldn't have talked to me, but because they knew that I was a student, they were like, oh, like, we want to help you. Like, it's absolutely like a learning experience for you. And then also my peers were also really excited and really supportive. So anytime someone says like, hey, like, nice to meet you, what do? You could say like, I'm working on a startup. And then everyone would get really, really excited because everyone loves that like innovative, like changing kind of spirit.
And did you? Well, I mean, obviously, going to an MBA program at Columbia, you're rubbing shoulders with many like-minded people. So, was it a very good, networking, time because you had like-minded people around you? Did you get to meet other people that kind of pushed the boundaries of your idea so that it made it better?
So the students were, I think, the main draw for me to go to business school. I really wanted to develop a network that would support me throughout my career.
Of course.
And the important thing for me was that they would be interested and not only to be entrepreneurs, but also interested in being angel investors, in venture capital, in being in different industries that might have innovative ideas in the future. So kind of making sure that I had the diversity of thought that was present in Columbia's program was really important to me, and that's part of why I joined.
Lovely. I like that you said that. So in essence, going into the program with this startup and developing it, you had not only the support, but also kind of people who could kind of stretch the boundaries of your startup and kind of put it through like a simulation. Like, how is this going to work in the real world where like-minded business people are there trying to support you and tear you down at the same time? Okay, great. So what tips do you have for applying to graduate school?
Yeah.
Especially in business, MBA.
Yeah, for MBAs, the big tip that I always give folks that are applying is to actually reach out to the people within the program that you're applying to, because MBAs in general and like even each school, they have reputations, but the only way to actually see for yourself if that reputation is true is to talk to the folks that are in the program and know it the best. So the students and then also the professors, because they're going to be the ones that you want to learn from the most. They're going to be the ones that have the most experience for you to draw from. And so both of those together, you can even use that in your application to demonstrate interest in the school. So you have the inside scoop, you understand and can kind of think about what you would want your next couple of years to look like. And then you show the school that you really do care about their school in particular. And that means a lot to a bunch of schools. I know it means a ton to Columbia.
That's very different, because for like in my field, we tend to apply. I mean, the school is important, don't get me wrong, very important, but we tend to apply to the person. And so, you know, you apply for the person, they maybe have funds to support you and your research, and so you pick that as well. But I guess for the MBA, for an MBA, would you say that schools or universities are a bit more of like a family culture, or like there's more of a culture behind the program, so you go to each program because the culture is different and it fits with you? Is that okay?
Exactly. Yeah, because each school has like its own personality. And there's like the stereotypes of the personality, and then there's like the actual personality. And each school has one, so there's kind of like the good and bad of all of that.
Of course, yeah.
But like, for example, when I was first considering Columbia, my understanding of their reputation was it's a finance school. You go there for finance or consulting, and it like is super cutthroat. And like that was like what I had like heard of the past. And then I started talking to like recent alumni, people who had graduated in the last 5, 10, 15 years. And it was completely different. And they were like, no, it's not cutthroat at all. That's like the old reputation. Like they've completely revamped the school to make sure that it's really like they care for you. It is like a family. And that's what I found when I got there, was that everyone really cared about you. But I wouldn't have known that if I had gone off the reputation.
Thanks for telling me about that. For someone who is interested in potentially getting an MBA someday, that you know, it's good to know about all of these tips. So yeah, and then let's get to one of my favorite questions, which is to debunk these misconceptions about you know, the situations that we're in or things that we've gone through. So what is the biggest misconception of this startup process?
There are so many misconceptions. I think the biggest one is that it's just like this easy overnight process where people go from like an idea on a napkin, and then 2 days later they're like on the cover of Forbes and they're selling their company for $1 billion.
Yeah.
And like, it sounds ridiculous when you say it like that, but there is that, like, people really do believe that a 5-year, a 7-year timeline for a company is long. And like, that's just kind of, it doesn't really fit with the reality of startups. Yeah, that's the biggest one.
That's the biggest one. I love that you said that, because we're in especially in our generation, there's a belief that if it's not instant gratification, then it's a failure. Yeah. For instance, this YouTube channel, it's finally starting to pick up, and I can have people like you on. But you know, my mom told me this week, so it really resonates. Yeah. Don't despise small beginnings. It's a big thing. So
your mom's a wise woman.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll tell her, well, she'll watch this and say, that she'll comment too. Right? Okay, so any advice for young entrepreneurs?
I mean, so it's hard to say without like knowing the specifics of any one entrepreneur, but my general advice is don't be afraid to start and just go for it. Because like what you were saying earlier, the failure of like what might be regarded as failure in a different industry, and I would argue there is no failure because everything is a learning opportunity. But especially in startups, failure is a time to learn. You learn so much more when you fall on your face than when you're just like running and everything is fine. And so I encourage young entrepreneurs, for whatever they have, whatever ideas that they have kind of brewing in their mind, to just like pick one and get started and like try and run with it, and then learn as much as you can. And if it's not working, then like make a decision and like switch and do something else. But that kind of willingness to go and get feedback and try things is what makes people really exceptional entrepreneurs.
Wow. Thank you. I'm like listening to this like, yes, I will do it. Wow. And thank you for being here today, Eleanor. I recognize that this episode is a bit shorter, but I thought it should stay short because for startup, it needs to be short so they watch it, and it's going to be on YouTube. So all startups, please watch this this YouTube video and use Aspire360. It's only going to benefit you. So thank you for being here, Eleanor.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching this episode featuring founder of Aspire360, Eleanor Haglund. I hope you enjoy, and please like and subscribe. See you next week with another beautiful episode for you. Bye.